Hello everyone, and this is Wes from Against the Green Gaming, and I am back with you with another video. This is a top 5 of the things that I love about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Alright, before we get started, I just want to say that I hope you all stick around until the end because you might also agree with my number 1 pick for why I love this game. Number 5. Alright, to start off this list, I have to go ahead and give it out to the setting. It was really nice to be able to have two settings to play in my first 16 hours of gameplay. One is Norway and the other is in England, and I have to say that they are two complete opposites when it comes to traversal and also just giving you the visual effects as well. Starting out in Norway, you're going to be experiencing quite a cold temperature, and my gosh, I have to say that just this snow and the level of detail that they added to that was really nice. It was nice to be able to look behind myself and just see the trail of snow that I was just tracking up along my journey. Also, navigating around was quite challenging because it wasn't flat at all. It was just like large, high mountains, low valleys, and just rocks everywhere in between. Now, to then go over to England, it was quite an experience as well, because once you get there, you're pretty much just in this nasty marsh area. It is not pretty at all, and you're just passing through which looks to be just this hollowed land that, you know, you almost just wonder, like, why would anyone even want to live here? So then, as you're navigating more and you're going more north in England, you're finding now just like greener pastures, places that are much nicer. And also, whenever you're in those huge marsh areas, you also kind of see the cruelty that is going on in the world, and it really helps service the game to show it that this is not a very friendly game when it comes to, you know, how these different characters interact with each other. Just like the environment, everything is very harsh, and things are always looking to steer towards that negative side. Number 4. Alright, as I start this next one, I have to just ask a question to you. What is an element that you missed, especially in some of the other Assassin's Creed games of recent history? Well, one of mine is actually having some sort of village to be able to settle in. Now, I have almost haven't experienced this since Assassin's Creed 2, and it's really nice to then have Eivor being able to settle in Ravensthorpe to be able to set up your village. Now, the village itself is pretty nice. You can you have your longhouse. You can even engage in some of the next story missions. And also you can then set up some different shops that end up giving you better quality gear or expanding your forces to give them a little bit of a better chance. This has to be another element that I really enjoy to go into this Assassin's Creed game. And also, it was just very nice to just be able to finish a story quest or some sort of side activity, and then also seeing some of those characters or other elements being brought into Ravensthorpe. That was just really nice to be able to say that, yes, everything that I do in this story is having a little bit of an impact to come back to me as the character walking through this life of Eivor. Number 3. Alright, as we move into the middle of this video, I must just say it's just really nice to have a breath of fresh air and finally get back in to experience some of what made the Assassin's Creed franchise what it is, and that is the Assassins. Well, you're not going to quite play as an assassin, but you are going to be teaming up with them at times, and you're also going to be learning some of the ways in which they are teaching Eivor on how to be more stealthy and not always just being more of a barbarian and just taking on all the enemies up front, close and personal. So you're going to be learning on how to use the hidden blade. You're also going to be getting a hood and being able to conceal yourself. And also you can even choose to conceal yourself by sitting on a bench or even pretending to just be a normal citizen in some of the towns and villages. It was really nice to be able to see that some of these elements that made the Assassin's Creed franchise and what it is finally are coming back into this game, but also are keeping themselves separate where they're not just blatantly there just to be able to get that fan service. It was really nice to be able to experience it, but also not having it completely overwhelm you to the extent that you're just feeling like you're playing one of the older Assassin's Creed games. It was really nice to just be able to have a little bit of a dip into it, but then also being able for you to explore the game on how it was meant to be delivered. Number 2. Alright, this next one has to go out to the combat. In the past 2 Assassin's Creed games, I have absolutely loved the combat experience. It's really nice in Assassin's Creed Odyssey to be able to have more of this mythology that was intertwined into the combat, where you have these superhuman abilities and more of these magical effects to be able to help take out your adversaries. But now, in Valhalla, it was a really nice experience to be able to just get back more to basics, where you have a basic attack skill, you have also a stronger attack, you can block, and it was really nice too because there was a little bit of a hint back to Assassin's Creed 2 where you could really have those combat finishers to be able to finish off your adversaries, and a lot of the same weapons appeared in this game, or at least very much weapons that seem to be very similar to the weapons that I experienced about 10 years ago in Assassin's Creed 2. Now, you're going to have enemies using weapons such as hammers. They're going to be using, of course, swords, axes, bows. They're going to have shields to be able to block, and you can even demolish the shields, or some of the shields that aren't, you're going to have to make sure to dodge and open up your enemies so that you can either counter them or even get around to behind where you can then hack and slash. Now, it was also really nice to be able to have all of these elements come in to really give you a very bloody experience. This game did not take any cuts when it came to be able to deliver more of a realistic view of what these different weapons do. You will be chopping off people's heads, severing their limbs, and even just creating a large bloody battlefield by the end of your raids or other skirmishes that you have. Now, I have to just say that it was really fun for me, and it kept me just very engaged at times, and also just wanting to go ahead and move on into that next raid, or just even to just sit back and take out some enemies from afar with my bow, or even assassinate some of those enemies up close until I have to make sure that I'm going in and taking them out elsewhere. Number 1. Alright, coming to this last one, it is just really exciting to be able to experience the story. Now, I'm not going to be here to ruin anyone's experience and spoil any of the things that I have gone through so far, besides I mentioned to the assassins earlier, but I want to just go ahead and throw it out there that the story has been my favorite thing that has kept me wanting to play. Now, you're going to be finding that the story is getting you to do some things that typical Assassin's Creed games are not. You're going to even find yourself going on a little bit of a mystery, and there is some parts where that even took me about 2 hours to complete. Other things are going around and just experiencing what are called world events. Events that really you can skip, but also if you play them, you can end up getting some very nice rewards and even some new gear. And that also leads into the actual gear itself. It's been really nice to be able to go into some of the missions, and after completing something that was very challenging or even just a story quest ending, you get a nice little piece of gear to remember that, as well as being able to have perhaps one of the characters actually join you in your next actual adventure, or at least coming back to your village to be able to be a part of your overall story arc. Now, the actual only part that I did not like about the story had to have been the first couple of hours. It just didn't feel very well paced. It just felt a little bit out of place at times, and honestly, the first 20 minutes could have been a nice little background for you, and then could have just shot you up into moving out into England. That would have been a much nicer experience. I also want to say that there is a little bit of a nod back to an older character that was in another Assassin's Creed game once you were coming out of the Animus, so look out for that one as well in your time of playing this game. Alright, thank you for getting to the end of the video here, and I want to just go ahead and say that I would like for you to do one thing, and that is to go into the comment section down below and to be able to tell me what are the 5 things that you really enjoyed about the Assassin's Creed Valhalla game, or things that you were really looking forward to in your experience of it. Now, if you enjoy the video, of course you can give it a like, and you can even subscribe to more videos that I'm going to be working to make every couple of weeks. Alright, so I hope that you have a great gaming experience, and I look forward to seeing you back here in Against the Green Gaming.